Hi, I'm Ron Pars from parpools.com, and today we're going to talk about how to open up your swimming pool for the season. I'm going to give you 13 pool opening steps and tips to follow to make life simpler. All these steps can be used for either above ground pools or in-ground pools. They're basic and they're going to take care of 99% of the swimming pools out there. It's a gorgeous day. It's not quite pool opening season. As you can see, the trees are almost finished opening up. I want to keep the cover on for another week or two just to keep everything out. But in the meanwhile, we've already started doing some of these steps. Let's go through them one at a time. The first step is to remove any leaves and debris off the top of the cover. Now, we spent part of an afternoon, my son and I, taking off about, a couple of wheelbarrows full of leaves and twigs and just debris that had accumulated over the winter. We got all that off. We got most of the dirt off. That we also removed all of the water off the top of the cover. So when we go to take the cover off, it'll be simply done and it'll be fast. Step number 2 is to remove the winterizing plugs. You want to take the plugs out of your skimmers and return fittings and just allow water to fill into all of your plumbing pipes. Step number 3 is to bring the water level up. And all you need to do is, you don't have to take the cover off yet, but just take a peek under the cover and see where the water level is. And stick a garden hose underneath that. At the same time, I recommend that you make 2 chemical additions, because this is going to make life easier. As water is filling into the pool, it's gradually and naturally kind of moving around. And what I recommend, because we've found that this works really well for our customers, when you're adding water into the pool, add 1 quart of Pool Magic. This has natural enzymes in it that start eating up all the accumulated organic waste and matter. And then I also recommend putting in a quart of BioGuard Backup algaecide. The neat thing about Backup is that it becomes more active at killing algae as the water warms. And as the sun beats on the cover, it's going to naturally warm up. And so you begin getting rid of organic waste, plus you also begin killing and then preventing any kind of algae growth. Step number 4 is to remove the winter cover. Start at one end, make sure that you've got all the dirt and debris off and the water off, and then just gradually bring it back and take it off. The worst thing you want to do is to just dump whatever's on top of the cover into the pool, because now you'll have just created a whole lot of extra work for you and your family or whoever happens to be doing the pool cleaning. Step number 5 is to hook up the filter system. So attach the pump and motor to the filter. Hook up any hoses. If you have an in-ground pool, you're going to be mainly dealing with hard pipe, and those pipes are going to set up just the same way that you took them off. If you have an above-ground pool that has flexible hoses, make sure that you attach the right hose to the correct fitting. That creates a whole bunch of problems where later on you can't get the pool cleaned up. A good key to keep in mind is basket to basket. In other words, the skimmer basket to your pump basket. That's one hookup there, and then port to port, and that means the port exiting the filter back to the port returning into the pool. After that, make sure that you have attached all of your filter and pump winterizing plugs. Put all the plugs back in so that you're ready to go. Step number 6 is to prime the pump with water. In other words, grab a bucket of water out of the pool, pour it into the pump housing, and just get that ready to go. And at that point, you can turn the filter on and it will start running. At the same time, make sure that your air bleeder is open so that it can expel all the air that is trapped inside of that filter tank. Get that running. When you see the water coming back into the pool, you're going to have a lot of air bubbles. That's perfectly normal. And the fact of the matter is you're going to continue seeing air bubbles going into the pool for probably about the next 24 hours or so. Again, all of that is normal. When you're making all your filter connections, make sure that you put a little bit of silicone sealant on your gaskets. Or better yet, if the gaskets around the strainer basket and so on are more than 3 years old, just go and change them. That's going to save you a lot of aggravation and work down the road. Step number 7 is to vacuum the pool. Vacuum the dirt, vacuum the debris, get all of that out of there. One thing you don't want to do is open up the pool, get the filter running, and start dumping in chemicals. The more debris and leaves or whatever is left in the pool after the winter that you get out, the better success you're going to have with the pool when you add your starter chemicals. If you leave those old leaves and dirt and debris in the pool, those are only going to suck out whatever shock and algaecide that you have put in. So always do your cleaning first and then add your initial spring chemicals. While we're at it, at this point, if your pool is really nasty and really dirty, clean it. Customers come in to me and say, well, Ron, I can't even see the bottom of the pool. That's okay. Vacuum it. Keep scooping leaves out. Just pull as much stuff as you possibly can out of that pool. What we don't want you to do is to unnecessarily drain the pool. By unnecessarily draining the pool, you can have a couple of problems. Number one, if you have a vinyl liner pool, that liner could shrink. Number two, you're wasting a lot of water that you don't have to. If you have a gunite pool, and if you have a high water table, you may cause that entire pool to lift up out of the ground just by taking the water out. The water that's in the pool is helping to keep that pool in the ground. So never drain the pool. Step number 8. Use some surface cleaner, like BioGuard off the wall cleaner, and clean around the surface line. Take the accumulated biofilm and the dirt and junk that has accumulated around the waterline and get that cleaned off. That's where a lot of stuff can begin to grow. It's going to cause bacteria to grow, a little bit of algae, and as much of that you can eliminate, the better. If you want to prevent that kind of waterline, not only over the winter to a certain degree, but especially during the summertime, I strongly recommend that you use Aquafinesse Pool Water Care Tablets. Aquafinesse is great in removing biofilms and biofilms. You can check out our other videos on biofilms, but that's where the bulk of problems begin. And so by eliminating biofilms, we eliminate a whole bunch of other chores and other work. Now we get to step 9. This is the step that everybody has been waiting for. You get to shock the pool and add your initial algaecide. And when you do that, make sure that you don't skimp. Far too many people don't add enough, and then they wonder why their pool is either cloudy or they're having early algae problems and so on a month down the road. And the fact of the matter is, if you shock it well, and what I mean by shocking it well is adding up to 4 or 5 times the normal amount of shock that you would add to the pool just to get everything oxidized and properly taken care of. Remember that when you shock the pool, you always want to have the cover off. And that includes the winter cover or a solar blanket. You never want to have a cover on top of the pool after shocking. The reason for that is when the shock goes into the pool, you need, and it has begun destroying all the organic contaminants and the junk that you don't want in the pool, you need to have all of that gas off. If you trap all that stuff with your winter cover or with a solar blanket, you're going to trap all the unwanted things that you were originally trying to oxidize and keep it in the water. So shock it. When you shock it, remove the pool. You're going to be a whole lot better off, and it's going to go well for you. Also, when you are adding your initial chemicals, do not add stabilizer or conditioner. And I'm going to explain why in just a couple of minutes. Let's go on to step number 10. Step number 10 is to allow the pool to properly circulate and filter for about 2 to 3 days straight. The reason for that is you want the entire pool to be turned over 3 or 4 times completely, and that means every drop of water through your filter system and back into the pool. Remember that it takes up to 4 turnovers to have every bit of water go through your entire system. That's going to properly circulate and also distribute all of those initial chemicals in. The second reason why we want you to do that is that you are going to redistribute and recirculate chemicals that were added last summer. And here's where the cyanuric acid or the stabilizer or the conditioner come into play. Remember that when you add stabilizer or conditioner or cyanuric acid, those chemicals stay almost permanently in the pool. They may become diluted, but they are always in the pool. So in the winter, those chemicals just drop down to the bottom. So if you were to take a water sample right off the bat, you would find that your stabilizer level or your cyanuric acid level would be very low. That 99% of the time is going to be a false reading. You need to let everything circulate so that you can get a proper reading. What I found over my 30 plus years testing water is that the overwhelming majority of people do not need to add any kind of stabilizer in their pools when they are first getting started. So save your money, save it for some hamburgers and hot dogs for an afternoon pool party. Step number 11, put all the fun back in the pool. In other words, reinstall the ladder or the diving boards or your handrails. Put all that stuff back into place. Leave it off until you've done all of your cleaning and everything is running well. Step number 12 is to, again, we're going to reiterate this, make sure that you're going to filter the pool for 24 to 48 hours continuously before taking a water sample. I can't underline that enough, but you've got to let that water properly circulate so that you get a good, honest, and clear readings of all of your pool water balance levels. Number 13, and this is actually for after the pool has been opened. After about 2 weeks, I want you to chemically clean your filter. So whether you have a sand filter or cartridge filter or DE filter, clean the filter. Take it apart, clean it, get all the excess stuff that the pool has taken out from after the winter and just get it out. And that way you can have just a good long filter cycles and filter runs during the rest of the season. When it comes to your cover, make sure you take that off and clean it. I strongly recommend that you use some type of cover cleaner. My favorite is cover cleaner from Natural Chemistry, and it has natural enzymes and natural acids that do a good cleaning job, but they don't hurt your lawn or your flower beds, and it rinses nice and clean. That way you can put your cover away and it will help prevent it from dry rotting and just getting nasty over the summer. Those are the 13 steps. Follow those. After it is run for several days, bring in a 1-quart water sample. We'll check it out for you and get you on the proper road to just a wonderful, wonderful summer. Take a look at some of our other pool care videos, and we would also invite you to download our mobile app, and you can do that at parpools.com/mobile, and keep that nearby for all your pool and spa care needs. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me or drop me a quick email, and you can email me at techhelp, that's TECHHELP, at parpools.com. For further information and instructions, you can also visit our website at parpools.com/pool opening. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your pool.